When I tell you, realistically, Joel should have all types of infection flowing through his veins because baby ain't take no alcohol to put on the needle or her hands. She ain't take a lighter or a match to put no fire on the needle. She ain't do nothing to sterilize ish. But hey, what's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel, King Nikki TV, where I give you commentary on popular movies and TV shows. In this video, I will be recapping episode 6 of the HBO Max series, The Last of Us. Y'all, when I tell you I'm so tired, my eyes burn. They are like freaking like crying on their own. What is it called when your eyes be like watering? There you go. I'm so tired and delirious. I couldn't even think of the word. Watering. I was trying to watch this episode. I kept having to wipe my eyes because they was watering, burning, tired. I'm so sleepy. Everything in my being said, Nick, take a nap. But I want to talk about the episode while it is fresh on my mind while I just watched this. So I'm going to go ahead and record this video. Now, this episode picks up pretty much where we left off at last episode, where Joel got hurt when I was telling y'all, leave old man Joe alone. Let Tommy take you, Elle. Come on, baby. Leave him be. Then I'm mad I can't remember, but Joel said he like 50, 60 years old. We need to let Joel sit the hell down. So Joel got hurt, seemingly dying, and I'm not familiar with the game, so I don't know. Pretty much I know nothing gonna happen to Elle. She's like, the star. She is what everything is centered on. I don't know how much longer Joel gonna make it though, child. Joel won the fight with the Raider, but unfortunately he was stabbed in his gut wound. We don't know what kind of organs this knife hit or whatever, but he ended up falling off of the horse. We wake up. We pick up this episode, and remember I said they needed to get in that train car and hide, but they found a house to hide in, and Joel and Elle are in this house. I don't know what they did with the horse, child. We don't see the horse. Hopefully, he's somewhere tucked. If somebody come by, they don't know we here. Now, I got mixed feelings on this episode. I'll get to that at the end. So we pick up, Joel is hurt, seemingly dying. Elle ain't no doctor, no resident, no nurse, no Candace Striper. She don't know nothing about how to fix Joel up. And Joel ends up telling her, like, leave me here to die. Go north, go to Tommy. So Joel in this moment kind of, I think, just accepts he dying, but he still wants Elle taken care of. So he tells her, leave me, go to Tommy. And this is when Elle, she pretty much is like, shut the F up. Like, she trying to put pressure on the woman, trying to help him. He pushes her and he pretty much tells her to just get out. And she goes to the door. She starts to open the door, and that is when we flash back and we get a story told that gives us a little backstory on Elle. When we first met Elle, we met her chained up in that room with Marlene and the other Fireflies, and we really got no backstory on the character of Elle. We just got her in that moment introduced to us. So this episode gives us some backstory on Elle, and we can flash back to certain moments where Tess asks her about getting bit. She says she was at the mall where they're not supposed to go. We can also flash back to when they were in Kansas City and Elle went to help Joel when he got attacked by that young guy, and she says that wasn't her first time having to hurt someone. So we been getting little drops of her backstory, but we haven't had it fully fleshed out, which we get this episode. Now it starts where Elle is in her little military school. I guess that's what this is, in the QZ. I guess all kids go to military school because federal runs everything, and we need more, soldiers for federal. So it seems like, I don't know if it's just the orphans, because we do know that Elle is an orphan. So I don't know if it's just the orphans or if it's kids in general, but she's in this military type school. She's running laps. She's listening to headphones. Some girl comes over to start something with her, snatches the headphones off her head, and pretty much decides to try Elle because she's like, oh, well, you ain't the one that fight. Your friend is, and now your friend gone. So let me go ahead and try you. But baby said, nuck if you buck. And Elle was buck and she nucked. And Elle ended up with a black eye. However, the other girl ended up with like 13 stitches. So yeah. Now, she ends up in the office of one of their officers or whatever, who gives her this speech. She's like, just put me in the effing hole. She didn't want to hear what he has to say, but he's like, obviously the hole doesn't work. And he tries to get through to her, and he's telling her, look, Fedra is the only thing holding all of this together, even though, you know, in Kansas City, they was, you know, sexually assaulting folks and doing all kind of harm. But whatever, he said Fedra's what's holding all this together. And he tells her that she can either be a grunt or she can be an officer, that she has potential to be a leader. He sees something in her where she could be a leader, but it depends on what path she chooses. And he puts the keys, and I think it was like a cup, to signify both of her different paths that she could take. And this is why okay, so I have mixed feelings about the episode. Honestly, like, I'm fine with the drama and the character development, but this episode for me was the most lackluster. I felt pretty bored throughout this episode. And I pretty much, I get the story and everything that they're trying to tell us, the details as far as Elle's character that they are trying to give us. However, I do feel like I would much prefer a much better mix of action infected and drama character development. Kind of like that other episode with Kansas City when we meet Henry and his brother. I felt like that was a good mixture of story, character, and action infected. Like, I wish we could get more of a balance like that. This episode is pretty much fully just character and a little drop. I ain't even gonna call it action. We got one infected. Now, I personally, can I talk? Y'all know I said I was tired. I personally feel like we could have picked this up with Elle in her room looking over at the empty bed, being told lights out. Riley popping in through the window. I personally don't feel like we needed the officer, her running in the gym. I mean, in the end, she ain't picked neither path that he told her, because she out here looking for the fireflies. She out here with Joe. She ain't with Fedra. So she didn't even pick neither one of those. Even though, okay, he gave us the little information that she could be a leader. But I mean, the audience can kind of pick that up for ourselves. The fight with the girl, I don't know. It added to her little banter with her best friend when they were talking about that. But I don't know. I just would have liked more action. So I'm thinking in my mind, we could have cut that first part out and just picked up with Elle in her room being told lights out, looking over at that empty bed, missing her friend. Now we are introduced to Riley, who is Elle's best friend, and good casting. So far, all the casting has been spot on for me, besides that one lady that, you know, I done told y'all about. But so I felt like I said, I was pretty bored. We pretty much get their little banter, which was good banter, good friendship and chemistry between both of the characters, both of the actors. They sneak out to have this, you know, great night on the town. They said in the inside the episode that they went into the episode thinking, what would skipping school look like in a post-apocalyptic world? And that's kind of like this little fun adventure that Riley takes Elle on, where she takes her to the mall. And they did really good where the mall in this time period, post-apocalyptic world, we know that Elle, it was a lot of stuff. Elle had never seen a monkey. I think she had never driven in a car. It's a lot of things that she is experiencing for the first time. So the actress did super, amazing. When she goes into the mall and the electricity clicks on and she's looking around at everything and they see Victoria's Secret and all kind of stuff. It was all really well done. I was just kind of bored. I'm sorry. But I was. And I was fighting sleep. I was so motherfucking sleepy. Like, it was a struggle to keep my eyes open. So it really went jolting me up. And they eventually go through all these wonders of the world, wonders of the mall that Riley is showing Belle. I'm saying the actress name, Elle. Bella is the girl playing Elle. Now, fast forward, they're having all this great time, and they end up going to a certain area of the mall where Riley has like some stuff laid out. You can tell she's been sleeping here. And that's when Elle sees, what was those things that Elle picked up? Was they like homemade bombs? I want to say that's what they were. And that's when it starts to dawn on Elle, because Riley did say that she's about to turn 17. She already got her assignment from federal, which is sewer duty or something along those lines. So she dipped out, ran away. I think she didn't think that Elle would understand, but Elle was like, she gets it, and she would have got it then if she would have told her back then instead of just dipping out. Elle pretty much thought she was dead because she was gone for so long. She has a gun. She has a little firefly thing. She was accosted by, I think, Marlene of the Fireflies. They saw the way that she was dipping out in the city and avoiding Fedra, and they offered her to be a part of the Fireflies. And Riley pretty much feels like it may have only been a brief time, but at one moment she had a family, she belonged to them, and that is what she is looking for. She is looking to belong and have that little family feel again. So that is why she's going with the Fireflies, because pretty much Elle is saying, you don't even understand what you're getting involved with. You don't even fully know what they're about. And I pretty much think that Riley was okay with that, and she just kept trying to tell Elle, who kept feeling like they're terrorists and they're doing this and they're doing that. She was pretty much telling Elle, look, you don't know everything, and it's okay that you don't know everything. So once she finds the little homemade bombs and stuff like that, she ends up getting upset and feeling like, you know what, this night wasn't even about me. You tried to make it seem like you was doing all this to show me this night, but it's not even about me at all. It come to find out, Riley was placed at the mall on assignment from the Fireflies. But this is really what did not make any sense to me. While they're playing, I want to say it's when they were playing the Mortal Kombat game, when they were in the arcade, we see an infected, kind of like laid up in the cut somewhere. I couldn't make out exactly where in the mall he was, but it was one infected in the mall. But that didn't seem logical to me. So the Fireflies placed one of their folks on assignment in the mall without clearing out the mall. I mean, we wouldn't walk through and make sure it's safe, make sure there isn't any, I don't know. That didn't make much sense to me in the slightest. This girl was sleeping here. That thing could have attacked her at any moment while she was freaking asleep. I don't know. I just felt like that don't make any sense. But anyway, they end up getting in an argument, and Elle is upset, and Riley was pretty much saying that it was half the assignment, half wanting to see Elle again and give her this night and have this last hurrah. She wanted to say goodbye to Elle because she's leaving for a Firefly assignment. She's going to be leaving the city. This is her last night here. And Elle storms out. She starts to leave, but she starts to hear a scream. But I knew something was funny because I didn't know what it was. But I was like, that. First of all, I feel like that didn't sound like the actress, because I know the actress playing Riley, and I was just like, that scream sure don't sound like her. And then it just sounded like a weird scream. It didn't sound like a real scream. Now, she ends up going, following the scream, and Riley is in the Halloween shop, and it was a little Halloween display that was doing the screaming, and this was the last one, the one that she thought that Elle would like the most, so she saved it for last. And they end up having this last little fun moment. They put on these masks, they're dancing, and throughout their interaction, you get this little hint, innuendo, that Elle likes Riley as more than just a friend, that she likes her in a romantic way. Sorry guys, I do not know exactly where I left off at. I had to pause for a second and deal with the DOGS's. But I know that we are in the Halloween store. We're standing up on the countertop, masks on, dancing, having this last hurrah moment. And there have been little hints, innuendo, innuendos of Elle liking Riley as more than just a friend. Now, initially, I felt like, because they were dropping like hints throughout the episode, right? And every time they would, I was just kind of like, okay, this doesn't have to be romantic. Like, and I only felt that way because I feel like in TV series, it always has, or movies, it always has to be romantic. Like if you have like a man and a woman and they come together in a movie to fight something, they always got to kiss and fall in love. So that's the only reason why I was like, this can still be tragic. It can still be poetic, loss, etc. for Elle and her character as just a friendship. It didn't have to be romantic. But then I changed my tune because this got so like freaking Greek tragedy, like so Shakespearean. So Elle stops dancing, she takes her mask off, and then Riley takes hers off, and she's just like, what's wrong? And Elle pretty much tells her she doesn't want her to go, and she kisses her, and then she's like, sorry, when she kisses her, and Riley is just like, sorry for what? So this is like this magic moment that suddenly comes together for Elle, where she discovers that Riley is not only her best friend that she is also in love with, but that Riley feels the same way. And their kiss that they have, the word that comes to my mind is like innocence. It felt so innocent and sweet and childlike and wholesome and just like hopeful. I don't know, that moment was just so sweet. It warmed my heart. But of course, as they said on the inside episode for this week's episode, with the good, there is always something tragic right around the corner. So in this moment, Elle experiences her first kiss, her first love, and also her first loss. Now, that infected that we saw suddenly comes out in this moment. Riley pulls out her gun. She stands in front of Elle and tells her to get ready to run. Now, Riley wasn't a bad shot. She actually hit the infected, but you know, he ain't go down. So we get this really frantic fight that ensues where Riley is fighting the infected. She gets knocked down, kind of knocked out a bit for a little moment. Elle is fighting the infected, and this scene, man, this infected is fast. The scene was kind of like, it was really frantic, and it was like, and I feel like it's so realistic in these moments that you would be hopped up on adrenaline, kind of like when Joel didn't realize he was stabbed. Like, that's very realistic, and not even knowing that you're hurt. So Elle finally kills the infected. She takes her knife, she stabs him in the head when he's attacking Riley, and she's like kind of laugh, kind of like sigh of relief. She's like, oh shoot, like she thinking, dang, like we good, we done, the threat is over. And then that's when she looks down at her arm and she realizes that she has been bit. And talk about mother freaking top-notch acting. Her reaction when she see the anger, sadness, like all of it just emitting from Elle when she discovers that she is bit. But that wasn't it. Riley was bit as well. My nigga. And this moment, from the attack of the infected to the end of the episode, is why I say I feel like I have mixed feelings about the episode. Like I said, honestly, I was very bored, but from that attack of the infected, and you know, not even the attack, from the moment Elle kills the infected and is kind of laughing, that moment till the end of the episode, I felt like this was so brilliant. And honestly, this episode, we done had a lot of emotional moments. I done cried a few times on this series. But for me personally, this episode had the biggest emotional impact on me. When I tell y'all, I was in that mug, Kim Kardashian, ugly crying. I did not cry like this on any other episode so far this season. I was mother freaking bawling. Like, I was in there crying like my first love had got bit and infected. Like, I was, and it's just so crazy. And it's like, I was bored, but I completely get what they were doing. Even though I said I feel like we could have cut out that first part, I completely get them showing the audience the loner, the antisocial, the attitude of the Elle character, her life in this military school, her life before Joel. Like, I get that. And I always complain about the show don't tell. And I love that they did that, particularly when we get the scenes of Elle with Joel in present time, frantically going through the house looking for some type of supplies to help Joel, simultaneously as we are seeing the scene of her with Riley. And I love how Riley is pretty much just sitting there quiet, accepting her fate. Elle is more so lashing out, angry, upset. She's destroying the store. And on the inside the episode, I loved how they were explaining the fact that Riley has experienced loss before, Elle hasn't. And that is the contrast of their reactions. It's the fact that Riley was like, we all end up here, some faster than others. She has resigned to just accept this. And on the other hand, Elle up until this point has not experienced loss. So she is more lashing out and more angry. And she goes and sits down next to Riley. And this is when I start bawling my mud free. Like, I bawled my eyeballs out of my head. You hear me? And Riley is pretty much like, look, the way I see it, we got two options. I could use my gun. We could take the easy way out. Or oh my God, like, I feel like I'm about to cry now. She's like, or pretty much we can just sit here and be in love and go into madness together and just enjoy the last moments we have together. Oh, my nigga, when I tell y'all, bruh, can you even find love like this in the real world? Or do you have to be in a post-apocalyptic world for love like this? When I tell you, and it was I love how they did the scenes with her and Joel, because as she's in that house looking for something, it is mirroring back to her experience with Riley. Whatever moments I have left with you, Joel, we gonna just ride it out together. I'm not going to leave you. If it's 5 minutes, if it's 5 hours, if it's 5 days, if it's 50 years, whatever the little time is that we have, we gonna just ride it out together. When I tell y'all. Now, I kind of had a gripe that they didn't show us a certain thing, but then I kind of don't, because I feel like we can kind of put 2 and 2 together. We can pretty much, presume that Elle and Riley sat there together. Ooh, y'all are finna cry. God dang it. No, this itch was so, y'all, was it just me? Like, I just had the most visceral reaction to this episode. This hit, and it's so crazy because I was so bored. But hey, whatever they did, it was more freaking effective because this itch hit. But we can pretty much presume that Riley and Elle sat there together, and Riley started to turn and Elle did not. And Elle had to watch the girl she loves turn into a monster, and she had to kill her. And I presume that Marlene and her folk found them, because remember, this was Riley's last night. So then we can just jump back to when we first met Elle, when she was chained up with the fireflies in that room. So I was kind of felt like when it ended, I was like, why didn't they show? But you know what? I'm glad they did, because I was crying enough. My eyes were sore enough. I ain't need to sit there and see that. We already had to see Henry and Sam and that itch go down. So yes, spare me, please. Now, when we get back to present day and Elle is just rummaging through this house trying to find something, anything. And I'm really sitting there like, baby, what is you trying to find? Like, what is there even to find? And that is when she finds needle and thread. And I was sitting here like, can you stitch up human skin with thread? Like, I don't know. Like, I was just kind of like, I don't think that's how stitches work. I know, like, you can staple a human, but I'm like, can you thread up a human? But she gets needle and thread, And she goes in there to Joel and she starts to stitch his wound clothes, y'all. See, I'm learning little skills that you need to have when apocalypse hits. I know how to sew. I sewed a whole pillow. I love that pillow. My mama threw it away because when I was young, she'd always throw stuff away. But I made a whole pillow, okay? I know how to sew. So I guess the same logistics work when you're sewing up skin. But I was like, baby, what about, when I tell you realistically, Joel should have all types of infection flowing through his veins because baby ain't take no alcohol to put on the needle or her hands. She ain't take a lighter or a match to put no fire on the needle. She ain't do nothing to sterilize ish. But hey, look, I don't know. What did we do before we knew that we were supposed to clean wounds and have antibiotics? Did we all just die? I don't know. Probably not. So, hey, I guess, Joel gonna survive. Baby got him stitched up. The bleeding will stop. I'm going to presume no internal organs were hit, and all we got to do is just sew this little wound up as Elle does. But I'm very interested to see what other people thought about this episode because as it was going, I was like so disappointed. I was like, and like I said, I was very sleepy and tired. Like I literally could barely keep my eyes open, but I jolted awake. That little end moment that I was telling y'all was like my favorite from that moment to the end. I kind of jolted away, but most of the episode, I felt it was lackluster. I felt like I was really bored. I felt like I would like more action, and that's why I don't even know if I can call that sequence at the end action because it was just one infected. It was one, I don't know, was that even a 60-second scene of Elle and Riley fighting that infected? But I'm very excited to see where we are going from here. We have how many? Wait, I think I said this was episode 6. Is this episode 6? I don't think this is episode 6. Y'all, I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired, okay? This is episode 7. Okay, sorry. This is episode 7. I'm tired. Give me grace. This is episode 7, so we have 3 more episodes to go, if I'm not mistaken. This is a 10-episode season, so I'm very excited to see where we are going to go, but I have to be honest, I want action-packed. What other stories do we need? Not stories, characters do we need to build? Even though from the look of the coming up episode, we're going to be introduced to people. I don't know how important these people are. But let it be like Kansas City, where we get, a little character story, and then we also get some real badass action. But I'm very interested to see how this is going to go because even though Joel is stitched up, he was already old, hurting, having panic attacks, about to have a heart attack. He was already hurt. Obviously, he gonna have to sit there and kind of get well for a while. So from the looks of the preview and what I can kind of presume, Elle is gonna have to go out to try and get supplies and different stuff like that on her own. How is she going to fare? I guess we will see. Thank you so much for watching this video, for supporting this channel, for sharing the video, liking the video, for being subscribed. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.